Yes, good evening. Welcome to the Dover Carroll Community Center Building Committee meeting of May 12th, 2025. My name is Dick Malcolm and I'm chair of the building company.
Committee.
Excuse me. Following the guidance issued by the state in 2020 regarding the open meeting law, this public meeting will be held remotely, and individuals wishing to participate may do so by utilizing Zoom video conference technology. To join the meeting by video conferencing using a computer, tablet, or phone, please refer to the Dover website. And this meeting is being recorded. So I'll do a roll call of committee members present. David Billings,
Here.
Ruth Townsend,
Yeah,
and I am here as well, Dick Malcolm. So that gives us a quorum. Okay, first order of agenda, first item on the agenda is minutes for approval. These are the minutes from our last building committee meeting of 4/8/25. Is there any discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
If not, then I move that we approve the community center building committee meeting minutes of 4/8/25. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, if you are in favor, David Billings,
Yes.
Ruth Townsend,
yes,
and I am a yes as well. Okay, next on the agenda is I'm going to turn it over to Colliers project leaders, our owners project managers. And I'm not sure if it's Igley or Trey, but I'd like to welcome Trey, who is has joined the team from Colliers. And Al, our previous project manager, is no longer with Colliers. So I'll turn it over to Colliers.
So before Egley jumps right in, I'm going to take a second just to introduce myself. My name's Trey Logie. I'm a project manager here at Colliers Project Leaders. So as Dick had mentioned, Al Estevez has left the Colliers for a new opportunity. We're sad to see him go, but I'm stepping into the project now. Igley will be mainly your project manager, and I will be running right behind him as PM support. I come with 10 plus years of construction management experience in the general contracting world through public and private sector jobs. So well adverse to this kind of work and looking forward to helping you guys all close this one out. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you,
Very
Trey.
good. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so just the construction progress for April. Obviously, there's been a bunch of progress out on the site side, and I'll run through the pictures that'll show a little bit more info. So on the site side, the basketball court surface has been installed along with the hoops. The site fencing is in progress. The wood fencing is in progress, and the chain link fence is about wrapped up. Loom has been delivered and installed at this point, and we're pending a delivery on the plantings. We got an email from the contractor today saying that they've been a little bit backed up due to the rain these past 5 days, so we're just waiting on a finalized date for that, but expecting that to show up this week for the plantings. And then on the interior side of the building, the pavilion, all the interior work has been completed and they're running through punch list. Furniture has been delivered and installed, and we're working through punch list with the furniture as well, which is sort of the theme throughout the entire building. In the gym, the striping has been completed, and we're working through some punch list items there. And same as the connector, working through some punch list items. Furniture has been installed there as well. In the 1910, all the furniture is in, and M. O'Connor is working through the interior punch list items. The May activities, coming up in May. So landscaping, expecting it to start this week and obviously be complete in May. We expect a couple of weeks for that landscaping duration. And punch list completion. So M. O'Connor expecting to finish the punch list by the end of this week, and then having FMA go back and do their back punch in the following week and, them completing that work as well. So expecting it within the next couple of weeks to be complete. Final building inspections at this point are done, and we are expecting TCO in the next day or so. So Emma O'Connor had had spoken to Walter today to ask on the actual certificate of occupancy, temporary certificate of occupancy, and we were expecting it today, but I haven't seen it come through as of yet. So we're expecting it to come through in the next day or so. We'll keep everybody posted on that. They did give us a verbal saying that they were good, but at this point, we haven't seen an official certificate of occupancy just yet.
Do we have a request from M. O'Connor on substantial completion? Or has that been drafted?
Not yet, from Emma O'Connor.
So we're waiting on TCO?
Yeah, we're waiting on the official certificate of occupancy, and then we'll get the actual full completion from them.
All right.
Like I said, we were expecting it today. I didn't see it come through, but I've been in contact with their super pretty much throughout the day, and they haven't seen anything from Walter. So as soon as we have that, we'll follow up with everybody and send it
All
out.
right, but O'Connor understands that they're under liquidated damages for every day until they hit substantial.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
I'm
understood.
surprised they're not pushing.
I know they are. I know Eddie has been in contact with Walter consistently since last week. I'm not sure what the holdup is, but yeah, at this point, they're pushing about as hard as they can, and we're expecting it today. So, I'm not sure what the holdup was on that end.
Okay.
And then as we were discussing a bit before, the gravity wall install, obviously that started today. So expecting phase 1 to be completed in the next week or so, potentially dragging out into next week. And then phase 2, that design was sent out to M. O'Connor, and we're just waiting final shop drawings for that retaining wall for phase 2 on the service drive. And then that will prompt fencing completion, final paving and striping. So the final paving and striping, we can, in our phase 1 plan to complete this retaining wall, it'll allow us to finish the paving up to that rumble strip in the service drive, and we can pull up the sketch a little bit later on in the presentation. We want to discuss that. Or Dick, if you want us to pull it up now, I'm happy to do so.
No, why don't you pull it up now? And
Yeah, let's understand that.
Give me 1 second here. Don't have that queued up. Katie, would you mind helping me through this?
Sorry, I just had myself on mute. Sure. Okay, so the majority of the site, so what you see in purple is about 90% of the asphalt. And that gets us the majority of the parking lot, the coming in from Whiting, the accessible spaces, and you can go around the loop. Where you see the green in the middle is kind of the belt. So that is part of where the gravity wall is divorced from the property line. It kind of breaks off. So as they were saying before, that's the part that has started. It's only 2 blocks high. It's really just holding, the soil behind it. It's a true gravity wall, and it's separated from the fence. So really, the reason why the contractor wanted to move forward is because that's acting as the curb stop or curb, because we don't have granite curb there. So by putting in that little area along the left side, it's about 40 feet. That gives them a pour stop for the asphalt. The green where I'm showing there is the rumble strip. It had been previously located a little bit farther north on the service drive. By moving it down, this kind of gives us a place to, as a seam, to mitigate the two placements of asphalt. It also, I think, helps a little bit because it acts a bit as a deterrent. You know, the intent obviously is for people to make the loop, go back out to Whiting. And really this truly is a service drive, so we want to make it look as uninviting, I guess, as possible, so that it really is just limited to service trucks driving through there. So, yeah, thank you. So if you can see basically where we're stopping it, it's around the corner of the building. That gives them enough space to be able to do this first placement of asphalt. And the phase 2, that area is where we have the blocks. It's the same kit of parts, but those blocks are where the fence is. And so all the loads from the fence are being imparted in those blocks. And so that part needed to be engineers stamped and you know, the associated shop drawings to associated with that scope. In our conversations with the contractor, I do know they had a number of things as far as basically their work to complete list. And they were focusing on hoping to do trees first, to get them around site, and then sod, and then this important place. There's a very small playground area, and then the paving and the striping. So, you know, while this block went in today, that's giving them the pour stop so that they can get the paving scheduled. I know there's a couple things moving on, so I don't know that we have heard a specific date for the asphalt, but this is giving them, you know, basically a line to draw in the sand, and this is where the first placement goes.
Thanks,
What is the
Katie.
schedule for this phase 2? And where is that design?
So the phase 2, basically the vendor, you know, the fabricator of the blocks, they, you know, typically hire it out to a structural engineer to do the shop drawings, stamped calculations. So that part is in the works for them to be producing the shop drawings. We've gone through the design, you know, that's in their court. The blocks themselves are readily available. They're in Massachusetts, with the exception of there's a cap piece that it's basically a full depth one. That is something that has to be custom fabricated. It's part of their kit of parts. It's just not on the shelf. So that's a couple weeks lead time for shop drawings and fabrication, and then the install of that. So all of this was, you know, trying to mitigate that longer lead time item to get everything engineered, was to give them the ability to do the first part of the asphalt, just to get that part done.
I guess the question, how are we in May, a year after it's supposed to, and we're still working this out? I'm not understanding why we are now into a shop drawing and a phase 2 in this. It's all supposed to be done.
The short answer is a long story. The middle version is, the original design of this was for a shallow wall. What we got and what we reviewed was not engineered. It wasn't certified with the fence. So what was being planned to be built would not have supported the fence. When the schedules were updated last fall, we raised our hand again and said, listen, we still don't have the shop drawings for this scope. This has not been released. So when that got engineered, the loading of this fence in that wall in this area was going to be a 5 foot deep fence. Sorry, 5 foot deep wall, excuse me. Because the location of the building where it is and other site parameters, we've never had very much space here to begin with. So that would have resulted in a very narrow driveway. We've gone through many iterations of trying to figure out the best path forward for this, for all of the parameters of what we really need. And so ultimately what that resulted in is a change in the manufacturer. So it's a different manufacturer than the block we were looking at before, to get us something that's slightly shallower to still maximize the width of the driveway. We reviewed it with the fire department and the building department to look at the access that is needed. The corner of the 1910 building to the property line is just about 24 feet. So, you know, to get a driveway in here, it was never going to be the full 20-foot wide access as a fire department would expect for a service road. What we're getting now is approximately 14 feet wide driveway. And that accommodates the apparatus. It works with the ladder truck. That gets us to be able to drive through. But it's been a change to the design ultimately.
So maybe I can fill in a few blanks. Originally, it was designed to be a 24-inch wide blocks. And that would allow a 15-foot drive width on the service drive. The contractors did their shop drawings and came back, and from the block manufacturer, the block manufacturer said, no, we can't we can't use 24-inch wide blocks in order to have this gravity wall support a fence. The blocks need to be, I think it was 60 inches wide. So that would now reduce the width of the service drive. So a lot of time was spent looking at alternates as far as the gravity wall goes and doing some preliminary pricing exercises with poured concrete, looking at different block systems, looking at supports since the issue was evolving because of the fence posts and the wind load on the fence posts. We looked at also supporting or doing individual support systems with concrete for each fence post. And after going through all these exercises, and yes, it did take time, and it's hard to believe as much time has expired, it's taken as long as it has, but it is what it is, and here we are. It was determined that the best path forward, both from a cost standpoint and time standpoint, was to go with a different manufacturer on the block, which was found to be a block could be 37 inches wide. That still reduced the drive aisle. So we had to go back, and we were going back and forth with the fire department to see if that make sure that they were okay with that in the town. So yes, it is frustrating. It is frustrating that, we received the RFI in November, and here we are in May.
Okay. It is a little more than frustrating, and this was an existing drive. The whole idea is just to keep. And this is, civil engineering. So, I take it, we do not have a time frame for getting this on site and done? So
We
this
still have to go through a pricing exercise with the
So
contract.
this is all a change order.
Yes.
Parts of it, yeah.
All right.
So, Katie, if I heard you correctly, they have M. O'Connor has the ASI now, and they are now pricing, repricing this.
Yes.
Or I don't know if I should address that to you or to Colliers.
Yeah,
but,
they do. They do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the process of pricing this. We haven't seen anything just yet.
Okay. Now, just to be clear, what we talked about last month was to recommend for approval to the Board of Selectmen, which they did approve, was to at least get the blocks that allowed the contractor to install this portion of the gravity wall and for phase one. That's what we approved last, recommended for approval our last meeting, so. We still have to receive pricing for phase two from the contractor and see what the timelines are and all of that, and then we will be presenting that.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Any other questions on as far as construction progress?
I've got a couple on the site.
Sure.
There is I don't know whether it's a new or an existing manhole that seems to be about a couple of feet above grade over on the Center Street side. I'm trying to understand what's gonna go on there.
Don't know if I have that on this picture.
It's over,
Is it closer to the pavilion side?
no, it's close to the road down by the oak tree. I think it's an existing.
Okay.
And
Not sure. Katie, I don't know if you have any info on that.
No, David, is the manhole that you're seeing, is it in the grass?
yes,
Any of
Okay.
these ones?
yeah, it's down by where your cursor is, what, over by the tree. It's
Right there?
sticking up in the air.
Um,
It's the existing grade, so if you, it's to the left of that tree,
Okay, so
down
it'd be like
there,
right
right
here.
in there.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a clearer picture zoomed into that, but
Yeah, it's just, something's gotta be done before they finish grading there.
Okay.
And it seems like the grades are kinda all over the place. There's just coordination with all these manhole covers.
I don't think they have everything final grade. I know they just put loam down.
And they
So
got loam down, so it's gotta
Yeah.
be fun, cause they're putting the sod on that, I would assume.
Yeah.
And the irrigation's in,
there's no site
there's
irrigation.
no irrigation.
there's no siding irrigation for the lawn?
There is no site irrigation.
Okay. Are there hose bibs?
Yeah,
Yep,
on the
there are a
side of the
couple.
building. Yeah.
Alright,
I believe that manhole, is that the manhole that, was on the civil engineer's punch list that I came across today?
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Dick. I do think that that was one that they had flagged, that there was one that was a bit too high.
Yeah.
Anything else, Tim? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Megan?
I just wanted to ask about the basketball hoops. I know I walked through with Dick and Mark Galoni about, I think it was last week, and I just wanted to ask if there was any update on, for the outdoor hoops, whether those can be changed at all.
This is to, make them, right now they're fixed, the height of them.
Yeah, to make them
fixed.
adjustable so that they're accessible to all.
This would be to make them adjustable, and Mark, I think you were going to, talk to the, Park and Rec, commission. I don't know if you have any feedback from them on that.
Yeah, we did, the commission met last week. Yeah, I think we were all on the page that they were gonna be adjustable. I don't know where that changed. But yeah, I know a lot of things came back and asked for opinions, on a lot of the stuff. But yeah, we were under the assumption they were gonna be adjustable just because that was the basis of the whole community center, flexible. And use by all, we're just excluding every child below third grade on that court. And that was one of the challenges we had at the last community center or at the previous site. So yeah, I'm not sure. I know Dick, we had talked and but yeah, that's
Most
where it's at.
exterior hoops are not adjustable.
What was that, Dave?
Most exterior basketball hoops are not adjustable. And it'd be very expensive at this point to change it out. They're set. You have to dig that hole.
Right, yeah, no, right now, yeah, very extent.
And,
yeah,
and
I mean-
frankly, most of the ones I've seen for exterior basketball courts are fixed. That mechanism will just rust, it just gets rusted.
Yeah, David's on to something there. So in our last OAC meeting, this was actually discussed, Ruth and Mark, and it was our recommendation that you guys do not do that. It's just one thing that breaks. It'll be something that you'll have to be constantly monitoring. Also, you get I'm not saying that Dover, but crazier things have happened. You get people hanging on these things when they're not being watched, when you lower them. And it's just a maintenance issue. And to David's point, most of these that I've seen, they are all fixed. And you do have the option of that interior, obviously, in the gym, but not in the exterior.
Correct. Yeah. No, I think at this point, it's I mean, we do have others in town at the school that do adjust. And obviously there's a maintenance component to it, but I think at this point, the cost is probably substantial.
Thank you both for the update.
So just run through some of the pictures. Obviously, as far as construction progress, a lot of the progress has happened on the exterior side. They got loaned down. Quite a bit of the paving is done on the basketball court and the walkways. The wood fencing is going up along with the dumpster pad and that area. As far as the interior side, the gym's been striped since our last meeting, and furniture is in. So the space is really coming together. We've got the walk-off grates in. The soffit painting on the canopies is complete, and just on the interior side, all the cleanup and everything has been completed. At this point, I believe furniture punch list is complete. Katie, I don't know if that was sent over to you guys, or if anything has been wrapped up formally on that, but I do believe that they did walk through the space after furniture install for punch list items.
I know that the vendor had done that. They had done a walkthrough. I happened to talk to them on one of the days they were there, and they had identified a couple of things that were scratched or hadn't made it, but I haven't seen any formal report after that.
And then the chain link fence progress is right around 90%. I believe that they just have a gate to install on the 12 Whiting Road side. And then, like I said, paving has sort of been ongoing on the walkways and on the basketball court as well. At this point, the bike rack is in, and the dumpster pad and surround have been installed.
Does the paving come level with the
Yes.
curb?
Yeah.
'cause
When
it looks
Yeah.
pretty strange. I'm
When
not
the-
sure
when-
how it's gonna get.
No,
a-
it's level. I don't know if you can see that in this picture, but it does come level with the curb.
All right, it's gonna have to.
Yeah. So that's it as far as the construction progress update. Any questions or anything like that from anybody?
Who's buying the dumpster? Is that the town?
That'd be the town, yeah.
No, there's no one from the town. Mark, do you know who is taking care of the grass? Is that Park and Rec? or
Yeah,
is
so
that-
that's the grass would be us. Any the beds, all that stuff would be on us. And then I will say, Carl, the town has a contract with a dumpster company, so I assume they would just add
Alright.
the dumpster back. There was one there previously, so they would add it back to this site.
So you know you're gonna have a lot of watering to do this summer.
Yeah, yeah, it's not going to be favorable with the drought status. Yes, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially when you're doing it now in probably June. I mean, the
Yeah,
sod
it's gonna
should
be
have gone
watered
in
multiple-
by the 1st of May.
Yeah, so it's gonna have to be
So
watered multiple times a day to get it established.
does the contractor own establishing it under the spec?
Yeah. Believe so,
Yes,
yeah.
David.
So he owns the first year or first 2 seasons.
That'll help.
Dick, just so you know, this is Carl. And Mark, maybe you might not know this. It's not gonna be sod, it's hydro seed.
What do you mean it's not sod?
I was told it was sod from the get-go. I haven't looked
Yes.
into it. And now I understand, from last week, it's gonna be sod. I mean, it's gonna be hydro seed.
Is that, so Katie, is that, what do we, my understanding was it was sod.
Sorry,
And
I'm pulling up the specs because I haven't had any conversations about hydro seed. We have only been talking about sod.
Correct.
I know talking with Ed from O'Connell, he said he was surprised that the hydro seeding it. And asked me if we will be able to water the hydro seed. And I said, well, presently, no, because Dover has a water ban in effect. And from what I understand, the state has not released the water ban for our area. Michael Blanchard's aware of it. I told him I would keep him in the loop where they're gonna go with it.
If I can just jump in, I've never heard that's gonna be hydro seeded. It was
Yeah.
always gonna be sod.
Yeah, and Ed told me, quote unquote, he was surprised because he always thought it was gonna be sod.
So between Colliers, can you also check the specs in the meantime?
Yeah.
And I also, my understanding also was that the contractor was responsible for the watering for the first season, for the first year.
Yeah, usually you get 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, they may be responsible for the water going through the meter. But when you have a water ban in the town of Dover, doesn't look too good.
Well, we gotta, neither does a dead lawn.
Yes, I totally, I am with you,
So
Dave,
the
100%.
contractor's gotta truck in water. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it seems to, if they're responsible for the lawn, that's their, exactly, they gotta truck in the water and maintain it. That's my understanding anyways. And I would like to, it'd be good to get some clarification
anyone-
that it is sod before we.
Yeah,
end the
Kitty,
meeting,
are
but-
you looking at the drawings?
Yeah,
in
sod
the
shall be
specs.
nursery grown, sod grown from the following seed mixtures.
Okay,
It's,
that's what I thought.
Well, I'm sure then we will talk about it tomorrow at the job meeting.
Yep,
Yeah, Carl, you're absolutely right. Yeah, we'll bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, is there any landscaping submittals?
They
we've
were
had,
already
we've
approved.
had, we've had many. What we've been looked at most recently has been planting of the trees specifically because they're coming from various nurseries. We have not received anything related to the sod.
All right.
And yes, I agree that the contractors should be responsible for the growth.
Yeah, it's, can't be accepted.
Well,
It's
I
gonna
was
be
going to-
accepted by, it's gonna be accepted by the landscape architect ultimately. After a warranty period, which should be detailed in the specifications, and typically it's 2 growing seasons. So they
Yep.
own it until the end of, we'll get, summer is not a growing season. You only have fall and spring. So we don't accept it until about this time next year. And we gotta hold enough money until we have it.
And that's gonna be some significant money, in my mind.
And yeah, yes, once we get into the invoices and the rec, we need to talk about
Mhm.
what we paid. Cause I'm not understanding the rec as I see it.
I am with you, Dick. I mean, sorry.
Yep,
I mean,
I'm with Dick anyway.
I'm all on board as well, so.
no, I mean, it's nice to have all the support from you guys.
Okay, so let's,
Let's get into the.
Yeah.
The financials and them.
yeah,
Yeah, so just have a slide here for the construction schedule. Obviously, we're pretty pretty close here as far as, you know, their dates that they're showing us. I just threw together a milestone schedule. So as far as TCO and substantial completion, I had it for today, because we were expecting it today. But this date may change in the next couple of days or tomorrow. For punch work, O'Connor's estimating through the end of this week to get that completed, and then for staff moving, I have that as TBD. Landscaping complete, expecting it till the end of the month, 3rd week to end of the month. And then final paving at the end of the month, and then obviously further retaining wall we just discussed.
Igley, I'm sorry, does that take into account the emails that M. O'Connor sent out today, Crystal specifically, that the trees were delayed, the delivery for the trees were delayed because of all the wet weather?
Yeah, I put 2 weeks in for this, Dick, for the 23rd of May. They told us about a week to 8 days to get all the plantings in, so I was a little bit conservative, but this date could change for the 23rd.
And all these plants have been tagged. Landscape architecture has tagged them.
Yeah.
So
And then the landscape architect is gonna meet the plantings on site. Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
yeah, no, thank you, Igley. So because they're coming from multiple nurseries and some of them are far away, and we were not able to get pictures from all sides as you would normally expect. We've gone through lots of coordination, but ultimately the landscape architect is going to meet the truck. So that was going to be tomorrow. It'll now be some date in the future. That is their ability to, you know, do the yay or nay, on anything that shows up on the truck. They'll then be observing everything and accepting everything, you know, that day. So when it gets placed, that's what we have right
putting them
now.
in an impossible situation. You have the things showing up in a truck and the guy's gonna go either plant it or not.
We either accept it,
Right.
as you said, or reject it.
All right.
And then as,
I believe that was all coordinated ahead of time, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Igley.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your withholding,
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
you know, the liquid, yeah, or maybe we'll do it when we get to the rec, because
Yeah,
numbers
no-
are
no
not
problem.
making any sense.
Not a problem. Yeah, so at the moment, yeah, we're withholding 3921 from this rec, and the total withheld is 328,000 and 799 at this present time. So
So I'm sorry, Igley, I just want, is there any other questions on schedule before we move on? Okay,
Just
great.
when
Sorry to
will we
interrupt.
done, which is unknown.
yeah, so just running through the budget report. So at this point, we've got about 18.2 million paid out, about 1.9 million left to be paid out. So we're pretty close. O'Connor's showing about 91% of the construction completed. And then on their rec, they're about 96% completed.
Quick question, do we have the punch list, has it been monetized?
No, it has not.
Okay, so we don't know what that value should be. All right,
And then so running through the change orders, and I'll run through the contingency in just a second here, but these are all the approved change orders. Apologies, I have to put these on two different slides because there's a good amount, but at the
Yeah.
moment, we've got about $836,725 dollars approved in change orders for hard costs. And then as far as pending change orders, we've got about 152,000 in pending change orders, which includes, you know, some additional signage. We're holding some placeholders in here for the retaining wall, some additional stone for the level spreader, and just miscellaneous items that we've talked about in our OAC meeting. So I'm just holding some money there for that. We don't have any change orders to present tonight.
Igley, sorry to interrupt. Did you get the, we're gonna have to plant some trees on the south lot line?
Yeah, so I've got that in the soft cost stick.
You do, okay,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So going to the soft costs, so we've got about 570,000 approved in soft costs. And I've got the number here for the furniture, a not to exceed amount that was approved by the Board of Selectmen. And then as far as pending soft costs, holding a value here for the monument sign, which we'll discuss in a little bit, but about 2,500 bucks held here. And then a replacement of the trees on the south side of the building, I'm sorry, the site, about $10,000. So that's it for soft costs. And then as far as contingency, we've got about, as far as for pending change orders, about 165,000 on a worst case scenario for pending change orders. Our current total contingency is 1,037,000, about 42%, and a worst case scenario is 35%. And Dick, I did see your note about the spreadsheet, and there's I'm working on getting that updated with our finance team. I think there's a formula missing, so this is the most accurate value.
Okay, so we're working with, the $872,795 contingency remaining
That is correct. Yes, sir.
after taking all this, what you just reviewed into account.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
And then as far as construction percentage complete, we're at about 97%, and then the project itself at about 92% complete.
Okay, so we've got 1.6 million left in retainage and work to complete.
Yes, right around there. Yeah, I don't remember the number exactly off the top of my head, but right
Okay.
around there.
All right, that's for there. Can we look at the rec?
Sure. Do you want me to pull up the rec?
Yeah,
Yeah, give me 1 second.
all right. Question is, we're supposed to be holding money every
Yes.
month.
Yes.
Now, is the 18.15 million correct? We've paid them out 18.15 million?
So we've paid them
That's
18.1
what they're
million.
saying.
18.1 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
0.15.
Yeah, 18.15 million. Yes, that is
Right,
correct.
but we should be holding almost $500,000. Because we've been, every month we're supposed to be holding. It looks like you've just been paying them the following month. It's a cumulative.
Yeah, so David, we've held almost 400K.
Well, not according to, I mean, I'm looking at the bottom line, they're agreeing. And if we pay them 320,000, then it's just retainage and work to complete. We're not holding anything.
We're holding this on top of work to complete and retainage, David. We're withholding it every month.
Then we
from-
couldn't have
from
been
that rec.
paying an 18.15.
I'd have to double check it. I'll be honest, I didn't go through the rest of the month. Trey and I just went through for this month, but I can double check for previous applications.
You gotta
for
look
plan.
at what, I've been confirmed what has been paid to date in the town, but if unless you make it cumulative, then every month you're paying them what you held last month.
Yeah, no, understood. We'll do a reconciliation. Trey, maybe we can discuss with Michael Blanchard, and we'll just do a reconciliation with him.
Yeah, because it's, we can't approve this until we get this straight, because my math is we're not holding anything but like, which you're holding this month, which is like 32,000, something like that.
It's like 39K.
Yeah, which is, I mean, we should be holding almost 500,000.
Understood.
Okay,
Yeah, David, I'll connect with Michael and Igley, and I'll do a reconciliation, making sure that paid out number's correct then.
So, Dave, if from how I understand it, we're only withholding from the general conditions, and any
we're
sort
holding
of
from the contractor, whether they run out of this is the lump sum.
Yeah.
If because they're saying that, I mean, this rec isn't even marked up, so I'm not even sure.
the one that's in the drive, it should be marked up.
No, the front cover sheet, the 702 is marked up, the 703 is not.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's, that I guess every month go back and see what's been paid.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into that
I mean,
and
if
see
we're
what's
hol-
actually
I
been
mean,
paid.
if we're holding $500,000, then we should have only paid 300,000 for general conditions.
Understood. Yeah, let us dig into this and see what's actually been paid, and we can get back to you with a figure.
Okay,
Okay, so with that, I mean, we currently in the invoice summary. So we can run through all of the invoices. So we have invoice from M. O'Connor, the rec that we just discussed. Our Colliers project leaders invoice, the invoice from Fennick McCready, and R.W. Sullivan, our MEP commissioning agent. Couple of miscellaneous invoices from Colonial Fence and Niche, which did the staking out of the property. And then the furniture vendors, just billing out for their work. Same with, apologies, this is kind of misordered, but Colonial Fence as well. And then a work order for Verizon to set up some phone lines. And then the Stumpy's tree service for removal of their trees at 12 Whiting Road that we needed for the level spreader. Totaling 585, 539, 61. Any questions?
Okay.
I guess this brings it to the end of your construction administration.
Correct, yeah. For Colliers, yeah.
So we only have
Closeout.
closeout, which since we have this phase 2 wall, which should have been done a long time ago. Was that gonna do?
David, with talking to my director, it won't have any effect.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a difference for our end.
All right,
So we have, just to be clear, and a little bit of a review, we had your last amendment took construction administration or whatever through the end of April, and we started on closeout, which was triggered on May 1st, and this is for 2 months of closeouts. So if closeout takes beyond June, the end of June, right, June 30th, then what happens? And you're on a fixed fee for the closeout months.
Yes, I believe the last amendment we had was not to exceed, which at this point will take us to the end of that. So we'll have to touch base with our director just to see sort of next steps on that. But yeah, but at this point, we were expecting the project to be complete at this time. We felt it was gonna be complete at that time when the amendment was issued. So we'd have to double check with Phil on our end for that fee.
So you think the gravity wall may be installed by the end of June? 100%.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I think if we can get through the pricing with M. O'Connor fairly quickly, we should be able to get that installed.
Okay. Okay, so on these invoices, is there, we need to make a vote on making a recommendation for approval to the Board of Selectmen. How I'm understanding this is that we're not ready to recommend for approval M. O'Connor's invoice. Right, unless, so what we will be recommending for approval are the other invoices. Is there any more discussion on the other invoices?
is this the full WB Mason contract?
Yes.
You holding anything for punch list or anything? I haven't gone through it. I apologize.
No, this is their full.
No, that's
their
their
full
full
number.
Does this reflect the credit we should be receiving for the office furniture, which they put in the added office?
No, so it doesn't include that credit, Dick. We're still working on getting a cost for that from WB Mason.
So we
So who
shouldn't
we'd
be
be
paying
holding?
100%.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you for bringing that up, David.
and Colonial Fence, that's by the, Doug's house there.
So this is for the chain link fence, the added stain, and just some of the additional work that they've had to do.
So
So,
it's just
So
not
this
the
is
fence,
it's for excuse me,
Whiting.
63 Center Street, Whiting Road, and then 12 Whiting Road. No, apologies. 63 Center Street and 4 Whiting Road.
Okay,
Excuse me. Yeah.
so
and they're
They-
done?
no, they're not
No,
done.
they're not.
So they still have to finish there's a little 4 or 5 foot section by the basketball court. On the north side, and they still have the gate to install by the level spreader.
Dick, that part of the fence is part of their contract with MOCC.
Okay, okay,
So that's in my rec that we did, not release them for
Yeah.
100% because it was more like 75, I think.
okay. Thank you for clarifying that then.
Yeah, so thank you, Katie. But this is only for the town-owned scope for fencing. M. O'Connor is contracting with Colonial as well on this. So
Okay, I'm just trying to, are we holding it? Are we holding anything? Do we need to hold anything? I don't know.
so I don't believe that they're 100% built out. This is just for the change order work that was additional.
Mhm.
Now, how much is left on commissioning?
So commission, we have a training on Wednesday. That'll be about wrapped up. See, I can get that number. I think it was
Carl, are you comfortable with the training for the MEP systems?
I've requested, not formally yet, I will tomorrow, more training on the security and the cameras and so on and so forth, because the training was scheduled basically at the last minute, and two of the people that I wanted there were not there. That's for the card readers and the security system.
Okay,
So I've requested through Ed, I told him, I says, the training was terrible. So we want more training on that because it's pretty complex.
yeah, okay.
So,
Well, I'm thinking more commissioning agent stuff.
yeah, it looks like we got about 19K left for commissioning there.
Okay,
Yeah, David, I think I did see that there was something scheduled for later this week that was mechanical and controls. I think that was the last big one from the mechanical push. But
That's-
I do think that there's some more scope to be done.
Do we
that's
have
that's
a,
to the HVAC system.
Thank you.
They gotta bring the balancer back on board because they haven't finished balancing it. And then the training for the control system.
okay, but we still have about 19,000 left in the commission agent's
Yeah.
contract?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine.
So I can't, my screen is too small to read these
Ah,
numbers, and
I
somebody
apologize.
can do some additional
Yeah.
checking, right?
You gotta
Yeah,
back up. and stuff.
I'll take the notes, but to David's, the WB Mason, so you're just recommending not paying this 18,100. The 146,896 is all the furniture. We would withhold the 1810 for the install for punch list. Is that what you're referring to, David?
Yeah, I don't know the punch list, all I
Yeah.
wanna just know that we've got,
Yeah, we can withhold the install and seek the credit that we were describing for the office furniture swap, and then
Okay.
present that to you. And then the M. O'Connor, not approving that at all. So it would just be that 328, 542.90 mine and the
I can do some math
1810.
here.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, let's pay M. O'Connor what they're due, I just wanted, it just looks like we should have been retaining more money. We should also have a memo every month telling O'Connor how much we're holding.
Yeah, and we do have
Total
those
sum.
memos.
So
We
then
do
that
have,
should, that should add it up for you.
It
I'll have to double
does.
check, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if you wanna tentatively, approve it based on your review, I don't wanna hold it up for another meeting. If they're due this amount, but I'm just looking at the rec, the numbers didn't line up though with what I thought we were holding.
And
So
don't forget, there will be a charge for the conference table in that extra office.
Yeah,
Right.
Carl, we're working on that, to
Okay.
see if we can, make that cost go away. Because this was communicated with the BB Mason, previously, before the
All
incident.
right. No, I just didn't want it to get a surprise down the road.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
David, you had mentioned a letter, so every month I usually review this with Al, and Colliers does issue me a formal letter that says, this is our calculations of what's being withheld, and there's a breakdown of what's liquidated damages and what's preemptive, and I believe a version of that also goes to MOCC.
Okay,
As of March, it was roughly 300,000. And like I said, there was, a couple categories in there. That was, like I said, there was two sort of buckets of the monies, whether they were LDs or the preemptives, based on a previous TCO date. So I know that was updated in real time. I don't see anything that was at 500,000, but I
well,
think
I'm
we're
just
getting
looking at
closer to that.
I thought they were. Because it's mostly, it's design time and OPM time, that's
Mhm, right.
basically the
Yep.
delay, and
Yep,
that's
exactly.
almost, it's 490 or 460. So, I mean, that's fine, but I'm just looking at, they're claiming, just looking at the 702, the rec cover sheet, just make sure that we're holding 300 grand. That's what the memo says.
Yeah. So currently it's 328 that we were held.
That's right, 328 is the amount approved. It should be,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
334, 104, 30.
that sounds all right.
Right, but you're only taking, about 40 grand from the rack. Based on,
For
Well,
this pay
complete.
for this pay period. Yeah.
well, but it's cumulative. Again, we would only show work complete as being 19 million, one, not 19 million four. Or do it from previously, certified, but again, work out, and just, Dick, if you wanna have the committee, approve whatever that number is for the selectmen, then once Colliers has it worked out, then the selectmen can vote on it, because I don't wanna hold up a payment.
Yeah, agreed. So we could make that one subject to Collier's,
Verification.
clarification of withholdings. Okay. Okay,
If I'm understanding you guys correctly, it's just the WB Mason 18100 that we're not including in this math, just so I can give you a number, Dick.
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you're ready for that number, I've got it.
Yeah, I've got $567,439.61.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that what you got? Okay,
That's what I got.
okay. Is there any more discussion on the invoices?
I have a question.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's minute, but I don't see Eagle Leasing on it, which we normally see every month.
So I don't believe that they've sent us the invoice, Carl. I know that they've been late a couple of months. We approved 2 at the last committee meeting.
Okay,
So
So,
if we
okay,
didn't, yeah, if we didn't have it, I didn't include it in this summary, but,
okay.
uh,
Well, Mona would forward it to you, Higley.
I'll double check, maybe with the transition with Al, I just didn't
Okay.
get it on mine,
Yep.
but
No,
I'll
that's
follow up with
fine. I
her.
just didn't want it to be forgotten. I mean, I know it's only a couple $100, but
Yep, no, it all adds up. Thank you, Carl.
Okay. Okay, if there's no more discussion, then I move that, we recommend, for approval to the Board of Selectmen, payment of the invoices listed, subject to Collier's project leaders clarification of withholdings on the M. O'Connor invoice and, the deletion of the W.B. Mason invoice that's in the amount of $18,100. That would give us a total of $567,000, excuse me, $567,439.61 for recommending for approval to the Board of Selectmen. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, I will, for those in favor, I'll pull the committee. David,
yes,
Ruth,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Okay, thank you, Igley.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay, so next item of business we have is just the monument sign that we discussed at the previous meeting. So this was a previous slide from the last meeting, just, you know, the FM study that was done. And FM sent over some proofs. Dick, I included this to see if you guys wanted to vote on the color or if there wanted to be any discussion on this. I know that they sent it over. I don't know if you had a chance to review, but we had this in our additional pricing exercise. So I figured I'd include it in the presentation.
Yeah, so, well, we've talked about the building committee has, talked about adding a sign for the Carroll Community Center at the driveway, to the community center off of Whiting Road. We had some, FM, Fennick McCready Architects did some, suggestions. We had a discussion regarding these, at our last meeting. Mark from, Galoni from Parks and Rec came back with these monument signs, hopefully reflecting the, comments from the, building committee, and these are from the vendor that the town, from a town vendor. So, I think we'd like to discuss if those look attractive to the committee.
So the
which
section
one?
at the section at the bottom, is that part of the sign where the round town seal is?
I have the same
No.
question, Ruth.
Yeah, I know. So, just so we're clear, so this here, it's a vendor we've used for some field signs, Maxar. I'm still waiting. There's another vendor that's on the state bid list that has not gotten it back to me yet. So this is just one. They can do any color, any writing. The town seal would go at the top. And that's just showing you the dimensions of the seal underneath, but it's not, no, there would be no town seal under the sign. But there can be any, you know, any color, any modifications can be made to these signs. But I don't know if you want to hold off. Like I said, I am still waiting for one that's on the state bid list just to get a price comparison. I think this sign with shipping would be around $2,300. It's about $1,400 for the sign, about $900 for shipping. But yeah, so that's just one
That-
option.
is that installed? Mark?
No. So
So
we,
who
in the
would-
past, the ones at the field, we've installed
Okay.
with our staff.
Well, I
So out
didn't
of
know if there
those-
was any wind regulations for it. Joke.
Okay, very good.
I don't know how funny
So
that
out
is,
of
Carl.
those three, I would say the green on the left.
With the black background?
I thought it was more dark green.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought it
the
was
the one on the
green,
left
too.
is a green background.
Oh, it looks
'Cause I
black to
thought
me.
the white stands out and it would also stand out at night. I think the
Yeah.
white would get too dirty and the brown with the black may disappear at night. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't like the brown. I kind of like the white. Kind of goes like the library sign. But either the green or the white are fine. I wouldn't put 4 Springdale if it's going to be on the Whiting Road entrance.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Agreed.
Yeah, they have the wrong, when I sent it over, they just took the address of the building, but yes, that has to be
Oh,
changed.
okay. I mean, if it says whatever, what is the address? Is it Whiting Road?
No,
Technically,
it's Springdale Ave.
Springdale.
For Springdale Ave.
it is Forest, although the
Yeah.
entrance is off Whiting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we want to change what the, what is, if we want to include an address or if we want to take it off.
Well, yeah, I would take it off as it's not correct.
Yeah. I could go either way with green or white. And we could also ask Luciana to weigh in too. She seemed to have some opinions last meeting.
And I'm fine either way, green or white.
Okay.
For what it's worth, I like the green better than the white. It's more green community. Maybe we should ask somebody on the planning board if she approves it.
Good question. Does planning board need to weigh in on this?
Signage,
Yeah.
they may.
Yeah.
I
Isn't
know
there
it has
somebody
to
that
go-
just looks after signage or does that not
I-
happen anymore?
I know it has to go through the selectmen,
I was gonna say it's the selectmen.
but I didn't know if the planning board had any say in it.
Carl, that's a good question. We can bring up the topic to them.
Is there a light on it?
No,
There is not.
Okay.
none of the signs in town have lights on them.
Okay.
Okay, why don't I'll send an email out, to Luciana, copy everybody and ask her opinion on it, and then we can, define which color scheme we'd like, and then we can make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And Mark, in the meantime, and we know the pricing is, 2,300 not installed.
Correct. Yeah, that would be sign and shipping. So, and I would just, as I said before, Dick, if you want to let her know that any combination of colors can be used. So if you want to change a background, change the color of the words, those can all be changed to any color.
Okay,
And
And I can,
supposedly, Mark, from what I understand, in previous years, you have to get approval from the town clerk, according to Barry Clough, to use the town seal. And I don't know if it was just his power trip.
Yeah, I can check in with Felicia and ask.
Yeah,
I know this
just-
this might not be the correct I know there's been a lot of iterations of the town seal. So we just gotta make sure we get one that's approved by her.
I know Barry in the past has had issues with it. Felicia, I'm sure won't, but you might want to check with Felicia and the town clerk.
Yes, I can do that.
okay.
I mean, it's up to the committee. I don't know. Do you want the town seal on the sign? I mean, I know at the fields we don't put the town seal on it, but it's up to the committee. I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure it really warrants an official seal, but
Yeah.
it's whatever, usually whatever selectmen want to do. It can be just simple Carroll Community Center.
Yeah, we don't have, on the other signs around town, we don't have the seal on those
Nope.
signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'd probably I would suggest maybe taking it off and then just leaving it as Carroll Community Center.
Yeah, that would be that's my vote too.
And it might be cheaper.
I'm sure it is.
Okay, so Mark, can you I'll send out I'll send a note to Luciana, and in the meantime, can you see if there is any price change if we remove, if we remove the seal?
Yeah, I'll reach out to them after the meeting, and then I'll get a updated mock-up with the no town seal, just so you can see
Okay.
what the final one would be.
Great. And before you get the mock-up, let me just get back to you about Luciana's
Yeah.
opinions also. Okay, sounds good. All right, so that's the monument sign.
But Dick, that is all I had as far as an agenda. Did you want to go through the site furniture?
Yeah, why don't we just stick for a second on the signage? We were, at our last meeting, we discussed, signage on the south canopy entrance roof, to the community center, trying to reduce the costs. I know, Michael at, FM was working on that, and he sent an email about suggestion of, changing the material of the lettering or what it's made of. I didn't quite follow it. Katie, maybe you can take us through that. and we can
Yeah, I'm happy to jump
come to
in.
conclusion.
So we have, the only exterior signage package that was part of the project is the Carroll Community Center that is cast metal that's mounted on the pavilion, on the brick. So that's large letters. I've shared the sample before.
Yep.
We use it as the basis for, to do another PCO for this other scope. So the pricing that came back was roughly $5,000. I know we talked about it in a previous meeting. It's not necessarily the right application for where this is. So these letters will be 6 inches tall and they're being mounted on the hardy board. So when Igley was showing the pictures before, you could see the part that was painted yellow. That's where it's going to be mounted. So we took the comments from the previous meeting to make something that was physically lighter, lighter material, and not quite the same color. So what we've proposed is a dark bronze color, which is similar to all of the edge metal and the area around this, it to be fabricated out of vinyl. So it's a little bit, substantial. It's something that can be attached directly to that soffit, and should be less than the previous pricing scope. And I don't have a mock-up or a presentation to show you other than, it's the same color and tones that we have in the other areas of the building. Sorry.
How is it attached? Is it mechanically attached?
So, surface mounted, but I am concerned that the attachments, the screws will not be, yeah, just not be the
No,
right
that's
color.
fine. Yeah, as long
So,
as it's not like adhered, it's gonna
No.
be mechanically.
yes,
attached.
mechanically fastened, yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. No, that sounds fine.
So, the contractor, obviously they have a signage subcontractor. We've been working on other parts of the project. So we can, if the color materials is acceptable, we can send that back to them to obviously adjust the pricing, so it'll be different than the previous PCO. At that same meeting last month, we also talked about some additional scope that would read for Springdale, which would be just under the Carroll Community Center. We don't have that pricing. We just sent that out to them. So
Okay.
the signage sub will have a couple of things to do some pricing and send them back.
So that was, the Fort Springdale is on the north side of the building.
Correct.
The brick.
Yeah.
This is, we were just talking about the signage from the south side on the canopy. So, I'm sorry, so on that signage on the south side on the
Yep.
canopy, the color of that,
It's a dark brown. It's a bronze. So the majority of the well, really the trim. So all of the edge metal, the banding, the gutters, throughout the building is a couple of different, medium bronze colors, depending on the manufacturer. So that's the design, the color influence.
okay. Are we, David and Ruth, are you okay with, the direction we're going with this sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So Katie, I guess, yeah, if you
Okay,
could
okay.
respond. I know Michael had sent that email and looking for guidance.
Okay,
That one.
we'll kick it out.
Okay. Okay, Igley, yes, let's go to the furniture, site furniture.
Dick,
Right.
before you move forward,
Yes,
wasn't it requested that or are we gonna put for Springdale on the front side on Springdale?
Yes,
Okay.
we are, and we are, Katie and her team has put an ASI out to, if I'm understanding this correctly, has put an ASI out to, M. O'Connor for pricing.
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. I thought I saw some emails that the fire department requested it.
That's
And that's
correct.
probably a 911 regulation, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's in the works, but thank you for bringing it up.
Okay,
Okay, Igley, site furniture.
Yeah, all right, Mark, so thank you very much for responding to this. So I believe it was the Verona chair that you guys had reviewed and chosen. Let me just go to that. So yeah, we got a cost for the Park Center table from Landscape Farms, which is not the table and chairs that were chosen. So the chairs will be the Verona. It's the product sheet, and then the cost per chair that they gave us was about $450 per chair. And then Mark, I know you guys had stated that you wanted 10 with arms and 11 without arms.
Yeah, just so talking with Janet from COA, I know Al had sent over a couple options for chairs, and one of the big things on my end was stackable chairs. Chairs that can be stackable, and then Janet just want to make sure there were at least a few that could have arms to make sure that seniors could get up and down easily. So we felt like these here, I think of the quotes, kind of the middle of the range in terms of cost, but also allowed a pretty a wide base, and then some could come with arms. So whatever the committee decided in terms of how many, we just thought, yeah, if you had, one or two at each table with an arm, I think it was designated for 4 at each table, or 3. I can't remember where.
I think it was 3. So
3.
7 tables and 21 chairs.
Okay, yeah. So that was the thought. We just felt this chair came in 2 different ones. I think it was the perforated metal, kind of seemed to look a little better and maybe easier for cleaning, and that type of thing. But yeah, so that was our choice, but from the ones Al sent over.
Has, I don't know, has anybody sat in these chairs? See if they're, of course, it could all change by different body types, but I guess that's a silly question. My comment would be, why not have them all? Why not have arms on all of them? Is there any reason not to, other than cost?
So Dick, I'll comment, just say that the chairs that we had picked previously did all have arms. I know some of the pictures didn't show arms, so it's probably a bit confusing. But I would also double check on this. Generally, the chairs with arms also are stackable. So in the sense of if you're looking for something, and particularly if you're looking to make something simple, having arms on everything and, they're all stackable. There's not necessarily, it's not like an either or. But certainly these are your chairs, so
Yeah,
make sure you pick the ones that you like.
yeah. David, and Ruth, do you have any opinions on this?
Whatever COA and Park and Rec wants, are the ones usually there, so.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm the same
That's
as
fine.
David, that they need to be happy with them.
Yeah,
I would make them all with arms. It's
Yeah.
easier for my staff to stack them and put them away.
okay, good point.
That makes sense.
So, Mark, do you have an opinion on that as far as arms and no arms?
No, I think if they were all arms, I think that's fine. I know
Okay,
on Janet's side, she just want to make sure there's a good amount, but I think if we went all arms, then I think it's more uniform, and we don't have to worry about trying to get, certain ones to certain tables and that type of thing. So I would say just go, if that's okay, go all arms. That'd be fine.
okay. And then we have colors of the chairs and tables. And I think I think on this one, if Colliers or FM, if you could put together a sheet on this that basically here are the chairs which we discussed with arms, here's the cost. Now, I'm assuming the cost of these chairs and tables falls within our not to exceed number, which was approved, which we recommended for approval, last meeting, and the Board of Selectmen also approved. I think that was like a 24K number or somewhere in that
Yeah,
area.
it was 24,065, I think.
Okay, so I'm assuming that this all falls under that? Okay.
Yeah, for my calculations, yes.
Okay, can you then put together a simple sheet that says, here's our selection, here's what we're recommending for approval for the selection, and then also and then we can send out in an email for colors selection. Again, I want to include Luciana on it.
Certainly.
And
Yeah, Dick, that's
you-
kind of what we're showing. I mean, these are submittal sheets. Now that we've picked Verona, we can just extract the Verona
Yep,
and the chair and the tables to it. So it would be the table and chair and simplify it. These were all of the options that you had requested, so we wanted to show them all.
yeah,
Sure.
which we appreciate it. And thank you, Mark, and thank Janet for your feedback too, and Carl. So, and then
Thanks.
just, then we can do by email, let's select the colors and, then we can get these things going.
And that's the vendor pricing, including shipping and all that stuff? Okay.
Yeah,
Correct,
so
yeah.
that's what was on the first quote. It's got shipping and handling on it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
yeah.
wanna, yeah, okay.
We'll get this updated though.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Before we get on to citizen comments, there were some other items that we had on our so-called BE item list. We had the trellis. And David, I know you would send an email over about a recommendation for a simpler way to erect or supply the trellis. And Mark, I think, were you you working on that one?
Yeah, so I have I've reached out to I've heard back from a landscaper. They want to be on site just to see what everything looks like, but I know we have to wait till O'Connor's offsite. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, for
Oh,
well, we could order it and get it going, but as far as installation goes, we need to wait until they're offsite.
Yeah, more for just pricing. They would like to see. So I've given them kind of an idea of what from Katie and from the Dick from our walk last week, kind of what plantings are, we're looking for, but they would still like to see the site, and I just don't know, if
no,
we
they
can get
should
them-
be able to get on site.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, Mark, I don't see any reason why. I mean, you
Okay.
got, Colonial Fence is a bad example, but Colonial Fence is doing town work, but they're also doing no,
Okay.
it's especially, and as soon as they get TCO, which will be issued in the day or two, it doesn't really matter. It's the town's property.
Yeah, so that's what I was waiting for is TCO. But yeah, if you say we don't even have to wait for that, then I'll have them just I'll meet them there and we can at least have them look at what they need to do, and then they'll give an estimate for what it will cost.
Okay, that's
And-
great.
And Mark, I can take you anytime you want.
Perfect, thank you.
And that also, Mark, that applies to, as you mentioned, the plantings, and then we had also the sitting wall, which Katie, I know you just sent that ASI out.
Yeah, so I had the trellis, the beds, plantings, and then the sitting wall.
And the sitting wall, right. And then just, where are we on card readers, interior card readers?
Yeah, so I had a talk with one company. There's another community center down south that's used them. I can't remember if it was down south or Michigan. So I reached out to them. So I've talked with one company. I'm looking to talk with another, at least one or two. But yeah, they do it. It's just it's probably in the range of $20,000 to outfit the doors that would need to be outfitted.
Okay, so you're pursuing that, and once you get the information, then we can have a discussion.
Yeah, so I'd like to get at least 2 or 3 and then present it and have the committee look at it. And but yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for your work on doing that. Appreciate
And
it.
Mark, I have a vendor too I could reach out to. They do card readers.
Okay, if you want to send them over, I can send them what I have. I'd like to just be
Okay.
consistent with what we're sending to each one.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to just get that to me and I will forward it to him. It's
Mark, I had a-
safety signal, so.
Yeah. Mark, out of curiosity, have you reached out to anyone local?
So we
He-
reached out to, I talked with the company that did the locks on site, the ones that were
Yeah.
a vendor there, and they couldn't do what we're looking for. And they did give me a brand, but they didn't seem like they could install it. So it would be someone else. But yeah, if anyone has any vendors,
Yeah, Mark, I'll send you a couple of vendors that I've worked with for the card readers in the
Yeah.
past.
absolutely. Yeah, send them over.
Great. Okay. All right, I think that's, those were the other items, kind of the so-called VE items or others that have been on the table for discussion. I don't know if there's any others that I've missed.
No, I just have one question. Is the town ready to take the building's insurance? Once we get certificate of, or a substantial completion, it's now on the town's liability insurance. So
I
make
am
sure the town
working-
knows it.
I am working with Michael,
Okay,
who's been in contact with the insurance company. They had a couple of requests today. Because from what I understand, the certificate for the insurance has expired on the 6th or 7th of this month.
Long
And
call.
they are requesting an updated policy renewal from Colliers, O'Connell.
Yeah,
O'Connor.
Sorry. So,
okay,
Michael is, billing department's not gonna issue the temporary until all their requirements are met. There's an issue with the Norfolk County fire that on the BDH, I believe it is. So they're working on that today. Until the requirements from the insurance company are met, they will not issue a temporary.
okay. Let O'Connor know.
Yep.
Well, that'll be, I'm sure Walter's working on a memo to O'Connell now.
Okay,
And we have some signage that the fire department has requested for some tank fills. That's not gonna hold it up, but it's more so stuff that the requirements that were made by the fire department, including the certificate for the hood inspection in the kitchen. I have a meeting on Thursday with a vendor that's gonna come down and inspect it, so that shouldn't hold it up. But I've been in close contact with the building department and Michael Blanchard. So
all right, no, thank you, Carl.
trying
Good
to stay on
question,
top of
Evan.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thanks, Carl, for that info. Okay, I don't see any citizens on the call. I think we have any citizens' comments. And any future business recommendations? And future meeting dates, June 9th. David, Ruth, are you both okay with June 9? As
Yeah.
far as you know right now?
Yes. Yeah, it's fine.
It's 9, okay, and I am too. Okay, does anybody have anything else for this meeting tonight? If not, then I move we adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, all those in favor, David
thank you, yes.
and Ruth?
Yes.
Thank you, Ruth, for joining us, hopping on. Appreciate it. And I'm a yes as well. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.